Hi, I'm Tom and I talk about code. Welcome to another, I almost said PlayStation 2 Homebrew livestream. This is a Lua-in-the-browser livestream. I'm experimenting with Lua. I'm going to see if I can get a little Lua game running in the browser today. If I swing my screen over, oh, that's what we want to see, a webpack config. Whoop, little spoiler there. Cool, so last time we got a few basic things running and we kind of fell over, right? Because we're moving towards this world where we can set up some Lua stuff using an awesome WebAssembly project that someone else has come up with. We want to be able to execute arbitrary Lua code. We're going to kind of have this entry point by calling this doString function where we just run some Lua code. And we were having an issue requiring a file because I have, stuff.lua. This is not the stuff.lua I left you with last time. This is something much more exciting, but we'll get back to that in a second. But I was having issues requiring this because when you call require, Lua goes out and it looks in, the current directory, it looks in /user/local/whatever. It has a couple of search paths that it uses for files. And it turns out that none of these paths exist or make sense when you're running in WebAssembly in the browser. So here's what we do. It turns out there's actually, last stream I was talking about things I was thinking of, and I was thinking about basically caching these into the Lua global state or something up front, and I was kind of on the right track. It turns out that the Lua factory has a function for this. So we're going to come up to our Lua factory before we create our Lua instance. We're going to do a cool thing. We're going to make an async function. We're going to do a little bit of boilerplate and a little bit of cleanup before we jump back into the Lua. This is really the main thing. We need to have a way to require Lua files, then we can start writing Lua and start actually doing fun stuff. So the goals for today, do this, do some DOM manipulation, and then start writing a simple game. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. But we're just going to do a dumb bit of grunt work first. We're going to call this mount file, I guess, because it's going to mount a Lua file to somewhere that Lua can load it. So let's say return. We're going to return a promise. Okay, so we're going to use the fetch API. We're going to fetch whatever file we give it in the path. That's not how you use fetch. We say then, like a civilized person. So we get some result from the fetch API, and we call the text method on it to resolve it into some, chain it into another promise that just returns the text. Then we take the text and we call this function factory dot mount file. We give it the file path. We give it the actual value of the contents of the file. And this will now be available when we create our Lua object. We can just require this file in and everything will be good. So kind of what I described before, but I don't have to hack require to do it. Someone else has already hacked require to do this. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool. Welcome to everyone trickling in here. And welcome to everyone watching on YouTube, of course, as always. So we're going to catch exceptions here. And for now, we're just going to say the dumbest thing possible, which is console.error. Cool. And we return this. So returning this we return this promise chain. This returns a promise which can then be awaited because this is all wrapped in an anonymous async function. If you're confused by this, don't worry. It's not super obvious. It's a bit weird. We'll be fine. We'll get by. Okay, so we've got this cool new mount file function. We're going to call it straight away. So we'll come back to put line on screen. That's gonna disappear in a second. We'll get back to it. So we have this Lua. Before we make this Lua object, actually, we want to say await mount file. We're going to take, what do I call it? Stuff.lua. And that's it. That's all we do. We just await it. So we can have a, kind of a series of blocking things. It'll make the request out to our web server. It'll get the stuff. It'll do the things. It'll be fantastic. Then we create our Lua engine. And now we just go back to using normal, boring, require. And all this will work again. All this will work again. All this will work again. So before we run this, let's do one other thing, which is npm install webpack dev server. I think that's what it's called. And this will allow us to run our webpack server with hot reloading, which is going to be a big win. Cool. So if we go npm run webpack dev server, does this do it? That's not what I wanted. Can I just run webpack dev server? What's this called? I can't remember the command to actually run this. This is embarrassing. These are the things that happen when you're not actually a JavaScript developer. These are the things that happen. npm. Okay. npx webpack serve apparently. Love it. So now if I go to localhost 8000, it's unable to connect. And I think it's unable to connect because it's serving to a localhost 8080. Cannot get /. Now, this is also important. There is a thing that I have to do to the webpack config. There's something missing here. We need to tell it that when it's running a dev server, look for static files in the directory path join the current directory and the dist folder in the current directory. Cool. So the same thing that we're doing for the output. Love it. So now if we come back and say npx webpack serve, this all works. Awesome. And if I come in, so let's get this running in a new window. Cool. So if I come into index.js, let's just have a quick look. If I say this is now 11 instead, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's lower this number to 2. Yeah, because Lua's 1 index, silly me. But, you know, I can change this stuff and it's now gonna reload on the fly, which is really, really useful. So we're gonna use this. We're gonna make use of this. Can I? Yeah, ooh, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Cool. So, let's roll. Let's do some more cool stuff, okay? We're off to a good start here. We're off to a very good start here. So let's think about what we actually want to do with this, right? We've got a harness for running Lua in a web browser, and I think the first thing we should actually do is to rewrite this put line on screen function in Lua. And funnily enough, I did this off camera, right? I imagined what I want this API to look like in Lua. I want a DOM object. It's going to have 2 methods. One is going to be query, one is going to be create, or a DOM namespace, I guess, a DOM module, right? I want to be able to run a query statement, and I want to be able to create nodes, and that's it. And just those 2 things is actually surprisingly powerful. So let's do exactly this. Let's bind this into our Lua global state, right? It's going to be this easy. Lua.global.set DOM. We're going to give it 2 methods, right? We're going to give it create. This is going to be document. It's going to be a function that takes 1 argument, which is going to be the node type. Document.create element n. Perfect. And then we're also going to have query, which is going to be a query string. It's going to go to document.query selector q. Perfect. So now if we come down, we can actually evaluate s as a function, and it's going to call, because the file stuff.lua returns a function, so once we require it, we can call it as a function, and it's going to run this line from this file. Cool. So now instead of ns.put, we could actually, you know, just do this all from here. So let's say return function msg. Let's do it like this. Let's actually use the variable name. This is now going to disappear for a second, but we can now say, we can now do this. We can now require this functionality from a file, and let's delete this function, which is now going to be unused. JavaScript is going to yell at us because we're trying to do something with it there. Love it. Okay, awesome. So, Lua harness, done. We can do cool stuff with Lua. We can talk to the DOM. Let's jump now into Canvas world and start building something that's going to slightly resemble a game. How does that sound? Is that exciting? Is everyone else as excited about this as I am? I really hope so, because, oh boy, this is going to be cool. So, stuff.lua can kind of go in the bin. Let's imagine what it's going to look like when we have a little game that's going to run in Lua, okay? So this is what I picture. This is how I think about it. Actually, before I do this, Okay, let's go. What are we calling this? We're calling this better harness. Also, it looks like the Lua files aren't tracked in version control, and that kind of sucks. Let's go dist stuff.lua to script. Oop, where'd that CSS file come from? Weird. I haven't been playing around off camera. Okay, so let's just Google this real quick. Webpack copy static assets. We want to copy things from script into dist. Accept cookies. I accept the risks of accepting cookies. I realize my camera was probably a little bit in the way here, actually. Oh well, that'll be fine. You guys get the gist. Okay, so npm install save dev copy webpack plugin. So we need a webpack plugin that's going to copy files from A to B. I love it. So if I go to webpack config.js, I come down to plugins, new copy webpack plugin. I need to actually import this as well. Sweet. Love it. And this patterns needs a thing. Cool. And a comma. And it really does need a comma. So script. So what happens if I run this? Client hot dev server blah 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 blah. I don't know what that means. Today, yeah. Let's go back over here. Let's do the thing. I completely forgot that I usually do this, right? It's crazy. You stop streaming for a little bit and it all leaves you, all the muscle memory. So if I rm dist stuff.lua npx webpack serve, it doesn't get copied. Copy webpack plugin. Let's check this out. So copy webpack plugin, how is this going to work? From to. It really is as simple as it seems. Webpack config.js from to dist. I don't know why I've gone for single quotes here. It's a bit weird. It's a little bit odd. Okay. So now if I ls dist still hasn't copied. So if I go back to Lua in the browser, this is going to blow up on me. That's really annoying. From source to dest, from source to... File directory, okay, so it supports globs, right? So maybe if I'm more aggressive about what I want copied. Maybe it just doesn't know it wants me to copy Lua files, right? That's the other thing. I think it has some kind of awareness, right? Surely. Type from equals string, global path from where. Don't use directly. Do name, patterns, path to file.x, path to. You'd really think, oh, hold on. I'm not Do I need to go path join? Is this also a case where the interactive build is just not going to do it? I also don't think so, but maybe. What happens if I run this right now? Instead, what if I come up and say, if I do this, oh, that's odd. What is this? What have I requested? Where am I? It just downloads it. What? Where has my... Does it not like me having two paths here? Is this a different thing? I can't overlay these. Ah, there we go. Okay, so it is doing something. Cool. Okay. It's not good that dist is. I guess I make a folder called static. Oh, I didn't account on this being so annoying. God, I hate Webpack. This is why I hate Webpack. This is not why people are here. This is not why people are here. So yeah, so dist. So is it really a case of just omitting 2, right? Is that really what I want? Let's get rid of that, and then if I webpack again, all these things come across. Okay. So let's go from script. Now it's there. But if I remove dist, remove everything from dist, and then run serve, it's empty. Okay, so that serves from memory. So what we're gonna do is just rerun this. We're just gonna rerun this every time. That's fine. And we're gonna edit entry.lua. We're gonna get back to where we were a minute ago. Okay, so if we've got a game, if we want a game kind of structure, right? We want an update function. We want a draw function. Things that will get called, things that will get triggered from the JavaScript side, from kind of like the host, the main driver. We're basically gonna have some request animation frame that triggers Lua to be called. And how we do that, we can do that in a few ways, right? We could have a function called update, and stuff could happen in this function. And from the JavaScript side, we could get a global update function from the Lua, like the global Lua state, and call that directly. I tend to prefer to define it in some kind of object, right? So we'll define this object in JavaScript, some kind of, or maybe, let's call it JSprog, right? Let's call it JSprog. It's the Lua program that runs within JavaScript. Let's call it JSprog. And we'll have some update function that takes the amount of time that's passed since the last frame. We'll do the same thing. We'll have some function, JSprog draw, which is going to take in the delta time and a context. This context is going to come from a canvas, which we're going to render to. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And then we just return, well, we don't return anything. No, we won't return anything. We won't return anything. Okay, so actually, let's go ns. Let's go. When this is called, let's dom.query. Right, so we'll copy from stuff.lua. We'll copy this from stuff.lua, right? Cool. Okay, so the way this works is we're going to have some object from JavaScript. We're going to define things on it, and then back in JavaScript land, we're going to mutate that object. Or we're going to do things with that object. Maybe mutate it. Maybe do things like, you know, if you've seen my PlayStation 2 streams, I would do like prog.fps, or, you know, things like that, kind of analytics, things that don't make sense to do on the lower side, things that make more sense to do from the host program. For now, let's just say put hi. And this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna really put things out of control. So now let's go back into our index.js. We're gonna clean this up a little. We'll get rid of this weird namespace. We'll keep the DOM bindings because they're extremely useful. But now instead of doing all this, we're just gonna say require entry. And now we also need to mount our entry file. So our entry point, right? We look for a file called entry.lua. And we want to get rid of this finally as well, right? Because we want to do stuff in a loop that will depend on that'll depend on the Lua factory still being alive, and that means that we no longer want to try either. We don't want to try, we don't want to fail, we don't want anything, right? We need some kind of error handling to happen here. We'll think about this later. So we mount our file synchronously, we create a Lua factory synchronously, we bind some stuff into Lua state. We're going to bind another thing into Lua state. Actually, let's go const JS. Let's call it JS prog for consistency. Let's call it JS prog. Right, the thing we're going to run. So now if we mutate this from within Lua, this should be reflected in JavaScript, right? They share, they play nice with each other. So now we should be able to say window request animation frame. We need a function to call. Let's go function update. And this takes in a timestamp. So let's go let then. We want to know how much time has elapsed, right? So then is going to be the last instant, and then we get the change in time, but from the last animation frame by subtracting dt is now minus then, right? The previous frame minus the current frame. Then equals now. And then we're going to say JS prog update dt. Now, oh, and also the first thing we want to do is request the next animation frame with this function. So it's kind of recursive. And then we don't actually request animation frame, we just call update with then, I guess, or let's say then. And we need to do this before all of this happens. So we bind this there, then we require entry, then we do this stuff. Cool. Perfect. And if I run this, what happens? It's webpack. Webpack this bad boy. Need to serve it. Can I just come in and say serve http.server. Alright, it's JSON, so no trailing stuff. Cool. And now it's back on 8,000. And what is the error? There's an error here. Oh dear. Okay, hold on. Whoa, Nelly. We're spamming. This is going to run pretty much as fast as we let it. So that's going to be very intense if there are errors. Entry. X. x.append child, c.append child. There we go. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. So let's webpack. Let's run. What are you saying? I just turned the lights on my keyboard. I don't know if that showed up on stream. What is going on here? Oh, my fan. My fan. Let's... Bam, you're gone. How did I just turn lights on? Oh no. I have to cycle through all the different light settings on my keyboard before I can get to the one that's just off. Oh no, hold on, I go to the one... I can't remember. I haven't had color on my keyboard for so long that I've actually forgotten how to turn it off. Oh, whatever, that'll be fine. Okay, so something was going wrong there. That didn't update when I ran Webpack. Probably because did I not? Oh, I'm editing the dist version, for God. I have this issue. I have this issue with other things. Okay, so Webpack. We're gonna serve it. We're gonna go localhost 8000, and it takes off printing high very, very quickly. We'll come back to this and why it kind of sucks. But for now, that's kind of awesome. It's kind of awesome. I love it. Hi to everyone tuning in. Thank you very much. Torfik Elmsafer. Torfik Elmsafer. Thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're a big Lua fan because, oh boy, there is Lua in my future. I don't want to be like a Lua guy, right? I don't want to be here smashing out Lua stuff. I don't want to be a guy who puts Lua in places. For people who don't follow my normal stuff, I have been building a PlayStation 2 game with Lua scripting. Lua's okay. I like it, but I'm not a huge Lua fan. I don't know why I'm doing so much Lua suddenly. Okay, so something we do want to do, right? When we call draw, we want to send the DT. We also want to send some draw context, right? So where do we get this from? Let's do it up here. Let's say const canvas is document query selector. We'll call it canvas, and then our draw context is going to be canvas get context, our 2D drawing context, draw. And the amazing thing is we can just call all of the methods on this from Lua. We don't have to do any work wrapping this. That's already done by some very, very clever people. So we just need to go into index.html. We need to go into the other index.html. Oh, this is... Oh, and there's already a canvas. Look at that. Look at that, there's already a sprite sheet loaded. I don't even need to do anything. I did all the work off camera already. Cool, so if I go back into script entry.lua, instead of putting a thing here, let's go into our draw. Let's say ctx clear rect 00320 by 240. Say ctx dot fill style, let's fill in red. Let's say ctx dot fill rect 20 20 30 40 go. God, I miss my dev server. I have some regrets. And there we go. We've got a thing. We've got a thing already. We can draw a thing. Let's make it move. Local xx is 0. We're going to say we're drawing this at xx instead, and xx is going to be equal to xx plus dt. We're going to go. We're going to see how this goes. We need to rebuild it. We need to repack it. We need to rebuild it. This is a little bit of a bad dev experience, but that's okay. There it goes. Boom. It's off. Okay, so that goes at, like, what? 1,000 pixels a second or something, right? So what if I come back into our JavaScript? Let's go index.js. What if I divide this by 1,000? What if I make this... This is really heating up my computer. I don't know if you can hear my fan, but my fan is spinning. I suspect this is really thrashing the hell out of my CPU because I'm cooling Lua. Yeah, this is a pixel a second now. I'm calling Lua like every, I don't know, 5,000 times a second or however often I can do it. So let's do a bit of a performance record here and see what the overhead of calling Lua is. If anyone has questions, by the way, please do stop me and ask. This is very, very odd. This is not normal stuff to be doing. Okay. CPU, how are we doing? What's going on here? Okay, my CPU isn't too crazy, actually. Oh, well, that's because I'm capturing Twitch as well. Huh. But yeah, it looks like this callback is running pretty regularly. I can't really tell how often this is. I don't really know how to read this. You know, it sounds like a fine idea to do this, but it looks like every time we're calling our Lua functions, there's a lot of passing back and forward. So I've got an idea, okay? That was weird. I've got an idea. My idea is we have some... Let's say we target 60 FPS. So let's say D... let's say 1 divided by FPS, right? So how much time are there between frames in terms of seconds? And then we want to have some accumulator. Let's call it frame acc. So we'll say frame acc plus equals dt. Every frame we accumulate something. If frame acc greater than d FPS, then we update. And we say frame acc de-increments by the dfps, right? The amount of time between frames. This is maybe, I don't know if people have seen this kind of logic before, right? It's not too crazy. My computer fan sounds happier already. That's good. That's good. That's a bit more chill. That's a bit more quiet. I like it. So yeah, so this idea, right? We only actually do the Lua stuff when we need to. What if I can probably even go lower. My fan still sounds a little bit loud, and that's probably because I'm streaming as well, right? So if I rebuild this, repack this, target 30 FPS, this is all going to move at the same speed. It's just going to call less unnecessary updates. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So, we can draw something to the screen, we can have it move around, we have everything we need except for inputs to start actually, you know, building a game. I love it. I love it. So let's do that. Let's do some stuff to make it more like a game. So I happen to have some stuff. So I was playing around with a tile set. This tile set. I've got it downloaded somewhere. Let me quickly see if I have it in a safe location. Yep, cool. So let's copy this into, let's go temp, safe fox download. Let's put it in static. In static index.html already, I'm actually loading this image because, like I said, I was playing around a little off camera. Oops. Try to clean this stuff up before I stream, but you know, these things happen. Cool, I've also got a style sheet, which, if we have a look, is just going to make this scaled, but nice and crispy with the pixels. That's what you want to see. Nice, crispy pixel. But, you know, targeting very low res, right? Very low res. These are actually 12 by 12 tiles, so they don't properly tile 320 by 240, but that's a minor implementation detail. So let's go into script. Let's go draw.lua. Let's make a new script. Let's go local dd cool. So we're gonna have some kind of, you know, module state here, I guess. It's gonna be static. It's gonna be static module state, but we're gonna nicely encapsulate it. Maybe in the future we could wrap this up and, you know, have instances of things that are drawable. But for now, we're just going to assume there's one mega sprite sheet that does everything. Let's go function dd dot, let's call it init. and let's give it an element, because we're going to go dom.query, we'll go dd.spritesheet dom query, so we'll get whatever element is there to do, and then in the future we'll actually handle errors from this. So then we'll have a function, maybe tile, maybe let's say sprite. Let's go, let's put our constants in here as well, so we don't have to, you know, so we're not hard coding all the magic numbers. This is a 12 by 12 tile sheet, but it has 1 by 1 padding between tiles. So actually each cell is 13 by 13, but then you reference it like it's 13 by 13, but inset by 1. I also think tiles per row. There are 50 tiles per row on this sprite sheet. It's a pretty hefty sprite sheet. It's a big boy. So let's draw a sprite. Let's take an index. Let's take an X. Let's take a Y. That's it. That's all we need to do. Let's take a context as well. Okay. So we need to go. Let's pull up. Let's go. Let's open it up in a sprite. Static. Let's have a look at these bad boys, right? So we need to go from some number to a place in the sprite sheet, right? This was created, by the way. I don't think I really gave proper credit. I'll dump this in the chat really quickly. I'll link this in the video description as well. These tiles are really cool. I really like them. Yeah. Sweet, people have been using them. Who's this by? Vermux on itch. I don't know if people can hear that helicopter going overhead. There's a helicopter really low overhead right now, but I hope that's fine. Cool. So we would need to go from a number, say 5, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would refer to this tile. 50 would refer to this tile, you know, 100, 150, 150, 1, 2, 3. So we kind of have this, you know, this is fairly normal stuff to do to decompose. God, these are very charming, aren't they? So how do we work out where we are horizontally? Well, if the if the index is less than 50, so if it's 0 through 49, say it's 49, right? That's this tile here, 48, 47, 46. There's 50 across, so 0 to 49 are on the first row. Then if we jump across to say 53, 50, 51, 52, 53, we're just down one row. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 50, 51, 52, 53. We just need to know what that index is modulo 50. So what it is, you know, the remainder if you divide by 50. So let's go local, let's call it ix. It's going to be ind mod dd tiles per row, which is going to be our magic number 50. IY is going to be similar, but it's kind of the opposite, right? If we're at 53, we want to know that we're one row down. So we get that by dividing the number by the tiles per row. So ind divided by tiles per row. But there's a problem with this, and the problem comes from decimal places, right? You know, 53 divided by 50, we're going to have some Python 3, let's go 53 on 50, 1.06. That 0.06 is going to be a problem, right? Because we're not going to start here. We're going to start down a little. So what we want to do is to grab the floor of this. We want to round down, right? So just round it down, right? 1.06, we just want this to come out as 1. So just take the whole number part. Okay, so we've got an ix and an iy. So now we need to get the actual pixel coordinates, right? We've got the index along here. So are we in the first row, the second row, the third row? Which column are we in? We've got that. Now we need to convert that to a pixel coordinate. So the first tile starts at 0, 0. That one's easy. The next one starts at 13, 13. It actually starts at 14, 14, 1, right? But there's this 13 pixel offset because there's this 1 pixel padding between all of the sprites. Okay, so the pixel, the tile starts. Let's say the tile starts at inner width plus pad x times iy. times ix, right? How many of these whole things across have we gone? What are we indexing? We'll do the same thing for the pixel y plus dd.pad_y times iy. That's not a times. That's not how we times things together. And so now we're ready to draw the image, right? So let's go draw image, sprite sheet. Okay, so can I remember this? Probably not. MDN context 2D draw image. There's a lot of arguments to this function. SX, SY, S width, S height. So destination, source XY width height, destination XY width height. It's actually not that complicated. It just looks scary, right? So we need the offset into the source image. The width and the height it's going to be 12 by 12. We know this. And then the destination offset, and this is also going to be 12 by 12. We know this. So we take the sprite sheet, right? Let's go source. This is going to be, so the source x and y, right? So the source x is going to be pixel x plus the pad x. We want that 1 pixel offset, pixel y plus dd.pad y, and then dd.inner width, dd.inner height. Love it. The destination is going to be whatever x and y we give it, and then again, whatever the inner width and inner height are, because we're not doing any scaling. Perfect. So this is a simple little bit of utility that's going to just make our life really easy and mean that we can draw straight from the sprite sheet without any magic, without any grunt work. And we're calling these context functions directly, which is really, really cool. Which is really, really cool. Awesome. So let's go into entry. Let's go into script entry. 82 Jono, too many ends on the destination inner height. That sounds like really useful feedback. Good eyes, good spotting. I have no idea how you spotted that so well. I'm always amazed when people pick up my typos so quickly, but I love it because I make a lot of typos. I need all the help I can get. Okay, so let's go local draw. When we start this up, you know, we probably should actually have some function JSprog init. For now, we're just going to do things in file scope. That's fine. Draw.init. We're going to say, what is it? The ID is sprite sheet. So we're going to select, you know, query selector, the element. That's going to be great. And now instead of drawing something here, let's go draw.sprite. Takes the context. It takes the context. It takes, let's draw tile 0 at 24 by 24. Let's go CTX fill style. Let's fill the background black. I think it'll look better. Awesome. I think that's it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, that did not. That's because this is the dist version of this file. Script. I really need to work out how to wait. Ah, crap. Hold on. Okay. I lost it. I'm still in the wrong version of this file. Holy crap. Okay, here we go. We're just going to quickly get back to where we were before. Draw.sprite context. We're going to draw 0 at 24 by 24. Now we're in the correct place. We need to be really, really careful. This is dumb. I need to make sure I exclude this somehow. Can I get Webpack to prefix a header or something? I'll pull chat out for a sec. Because the answer to this is yes, right? The answer to this is yes. Can you get Webpack to prefix a header or something? I would prefer to tell NeoVim not to open files in dist. There's got to be a way to do it. I've had this issue with other things before. I would rather play with that. But that's also a good idea. That might be easier in the short term. I forgot to do something. I forgot in index.js. I need to mount the file. I need to mount draw.lua. I'll play with this whole Webpack stuff off camera. It's just not interesting to do on camera, so I'm a bit reluctant to spend a lot of time on it. Module draw not found. Module draw not found. I definitely ran Webpack. Oh, the problem as well with this actually. The problem with this, yeah. I don't get the unpacked version. Yeah, oh boy, that's not good. Oh no, hold on. Icon1 could not be converted to. Oh, this is actually perfect. This is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want. Okay, that worked that time. That was good. That was good. So, I think the problem was draw.sprite, draw, script draw.lua. It takes the context. It takes a sprite sheet. So I think I need to do this error handling, right? I need to do this error handling. If dd.spritesheet is nil, then let's try it like this. What do you say about this? Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. That was insane. This is spamming everything. Icon1 could not be converted. Draw image could not be converted to. This should be fine, right? This should be working. We've spelled things correctly. That's good. So let's say this is dumb, right? But let's just print it. Let's just do some dumb printing. And we can actually come into the debugger. We can go to index. We can stop here, right? This is gonna immediately log something. Or it should. The other thing to make sure, and this would explain it, right? Okay, well, why do we not have sprite sheet set to anything? We lost our cool to draw init when I accidentally nuked the file. Perfect. Okay, well, let's get rid of our... Well, let's keep our breakpoint. Breakpoint. There we go. There we go. Okay, so it took a little minute, okay, but we got there. We're drawing a tile from a sprite sheet onto a screen. I love it. Let's draw another one. Let's draw number 26 at 32 by 24. Okay. I don't even need to re-webpack, right? This is just a Lua change. 32 by 24? 24 at 36 by 24. There we go. 12. 12's a weird number. So we've got a little man, or a little person, and a little tile. It's cute. It's kind of cute. We can zoom in a bit. I like this. I like this. So, let's go back to stuff moving, right? So let's say if let's just go back to this. Let's say we're drawing him at the X coordinate. Now if I reload, he should just be moving across the screen a little. Now it's a little bit janky, right? When you draw these sprites at non-pixel offsets, it gets a little bit janky at low resolution. So what we're going to do, we're going to say, we're going to do our favorite thing, we're going to round down the X coordinate. And now, this movement's going to be a little bit smoother. It's still going to be weird, but he moves in whole pixel increments. Let's speed it up a little. Plus, how fast should we go? Let's say 40 pixels per second. That's pretty reasonable. He's going to move. He's not going to fly across the screen, but he's going to move across the screen, right? In whole pixel increments. It's a little bit janky. It's a little bit very janky. The way of limiting to 30 FPS is a bit crap, but it works. Okay, we've got some animation, right? You missed the beginning. What's the Webpack doing other than copying files to dist? Is it compiling something? It repackages. It bundles our index, right? So it manages this, but not really, because I have to copy this file directly from node modules anyway. It's basically copying. It's copying and converting this into some other, like, you know, bundled format. But yeah, its main purpose is to copy files around. So it feels a little bit like overkill. I could probably replace it with a make file. It's just down to how this file should be structured, right? Yeah. Salty Doubts, welcome. How's it going? How's life on the other side? Have you been poached by the people I introduced you to the other day yet? Cool. Let's start doing some stuff. Let's start doing some stuff with this. Let's make a tile map. What's the best way to represent a map? Like a list, right? Let's go like this. Let's go local function. So let's go local empty list for Salty Doubts has COVID. What a pity. It's really going around Melbourne right now. It's freaking insane. I hope you're okay. If you need anything, let me know. I'm not too far away. Okay, so we're gonna loop. We're gonna make a map that is width by height for j equals 1, height 1, do. We're gonna get a random number. We're gonna go local ri. We're gonna multiply it by 5, and we're gonna math.floor this. This gives us a random number 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. If ri is greater than 0, then we're going to do stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be an empty space. Let's say table insert ri, I guess. Wait, no, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to make a random number. We're going to insert it into our list. Cool. So we've got a list. Yeah, take it easy, Salty Doubts. Learn some Godot. Godot's awesome. I highly rate it. Get Lua scripting working in Godot. No, don't. GDScript it has some rough edges though, for sure. But it's really cool. It's super powerful. Learn some Godot, and then when you're better, live stream it. That's the goal. It's the goal I'm setting for you. Sorry, I'm just checking the time. You know, it's almost past my bedtime. Let's get this map drawing, and then I'm probably going to call it. I'll put this up on GitHub. Anyone can pull it down and play with it, and we'll see what people can make with Lua in the browser. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like that. So we've got a map. Now when we draw, let's say for I equals 1, what's 320 divided by 12? W equals 26. Height is 20, I think, right? 240 divided by 12. That checks out. It's 20. I can do math. So we'll go for W1 do for J is 1, height 1 do. So we're going to draw from this map that we haven't even made yet. Let's go. This is really bad file structure, right? We're going to split all this stuff out to other files as we go, but for now we're just going to do things very, very global, right? Very global state. we'll make better abstractions, but I just want to kind of experiment because I'm at the end of the stream. Cool, so let's go. The index we're going to be drawing to is going to be j times w plus I. Is that right? Yeah. So this is kind of the reverse of what we were doing before. Except it's going to be j minus 1 times w plus I minus 1. The index at the map is going to be map ind plus 1 because Lua. Oh, I love Lua. And then we're going to say if mi is greater than 0, then draw sprite ctx mi. We're going to say I times 12, j times 12. Let's see if this works. Nice. Except it's I minus 1 times 12 and j minus 1 times 12. Let's do this again. Nice. Look at this. Should I do keyboard input? Should I rush keyboard input right now? Let's do it. Let's do really bad keyboard input. Okay, so let's go back to our JS prog. Let's add... this is a bit janky. Let's forget that for now. I thought I had defaults there. Let's forget that. Let's go js prog.keydown. And let's just pass the raw event right in, right? So let's go window.onKeyDown is so js prog.keydown e.key. Just e. Just pass the whole event through, right? We don't even need curly braces. I love it. For now, let's just print the key name and see if it works. We need to repack, rebuild, rerun. Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. That is lovely. See, this is such a good binding because I can just throw. I didn't even need to stop that, right? I'm just changing Lua. I don't need to repack. Wait, no, yes I do. Okay, so if e.key is a, then let's go up. Let's make a yy as well. So if let's go in gamer order. If w, then yy is yy minus 1. E.key is a, then xx is xx minus 1. E.key is s, then yy is yy plus 1. E.key is d, then xx is xx plus 1. Cool. So we're going to do it based on key press, so you can like spam keys and go really quickly. And then we're going to be at xx times 12, yy times 12, and we should be able to move around. Look at this. So there's no transparency, right? But you know, that's not a big deal. Look at this. We can move around. I think we can only move in one. Oh no, we can kind of go diagonally, right? We can kind of mash keys. Oh, this is cool. This looks really cool. I'm excited about this. So this is its normal resolution, right? But you can zoom in and it actually scales pretty well. It looks pretty crispy. The pixel scaling is crispy. So this is fun. Lua's fun. I rate Lua. I don't know how performant it'll be. I might go test this out on my Raspberry Pi in a second. But yeah, Lua's cool. Lua is cool. I like the idea of just like really lightweight web games you can jump in and play and mess around in. And they're really easy to hack and, you know, anyone can run them. That's quite cool. It's not like the PlayStation 2 stuff where there's kind of an overhead involved in building and running it. Anyone could just pick this up and start messing around and building things. I think that's pretty valuable. So, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna commit this. I'm going to commit this. I'm just going to commit everything. Working tile renderer with some keyboard. And I'm going to git tag a... we'll call it ZZ 2022. I'm going to get in the habit of doing this. 0808. So I'm going to get in the habit of tagging my repos with a tag like this when I do a stream. Sweet. And we'll push that up. There's no repo for this yet, but I'll get it there. I'll get it linked in the YouTube description. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. This thing works, right? I love it. I love it. So, thank you very much, people who have been watching, for tuning in. I hope this has been okay. It's been a bit of a wild time, right? I'm a little bit rusty at streaming, honestly. You know, it's been a little bit. But I'm keen to take this and roll with it and make something fun. I am, of course, still going to do PlayStation 2 stuff, but, you know, just wanted a little break. I was thinking about Lua, I was thinking about front end, I was thinking about things that run everywhere. So, yeah, I thought I'd have a crack at this. I'll probably do a few more streams of this, and I'll probably do some stuff off camera with it. I've got a lot of ideas about interoperability and how to best utilize this kind of bridge, right? Like, well, anyway, we can get there. We can get there. I can talk about it another time. For now, I need to get off to bed. It is past my bedtime. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you everyone watching this on YouTube. Let's get my full face up here so I can say a wonderful and heartfelt see you next time.